Today is Wednesday, July 22nd, and this is a post-market review for the stock market activities today. The Dow Industrial Average closed up 0.62%. The S&P 500 closed in the green, 0.57%, and the Nasdaq was the underperformer for today, closing yet in the green, but only 0.24%. As you can see from the S&P 500 sector performance, we can see that the yield hunting theme continues. You can see real estate and utilities outperforming. Of course, there is the energy trade that was hot yesterday, not so hot today. And of course, this is a warning for these chaser traders who chase the hot trade of the day. They bought technology after Monday's rally. They got their asses kicked. They bought energy after yesterday's run. Today they're getting their asses kicked. And you can see the theme of and the danger of chasing the hottest trade in the market. Precious metals, of course, continue to skyrocket. Gold is up over 1.5%. Silver up over 7% today. You see this defensive theme of the market of yield hunting plus precious metals, while stocks are largely muted. Here is a heat map of the day. You can see the outperformers, the utilities, the consumer defensives. Coca-Cola up big, McDonald's up big today. The defense contractors and the materials, of course. Technology is muted. The banks are muted. And communication services are muted. Of course, an exception in the semiconductor with AMD. AMD up big today. And the reason, of course, there's a little bit of a gambling here with the option trades. Option traders hopped in big into calls for AMD. Be careful of the pump and dump here. This is on no news. Tomorrow we will have some earnings from Intel and other semiconductor names. So be careful of following the herd in AMD trade. Microsoft outperformed today, at least at the end. It caught a little bit of a bed. However, reported earnings after the bell, and it's down about 3% last time I checked. According to their earnings, I haven't combed through them in details, but the revenue is up 13% year over year to $38 billion. However, the net income is down 15% year over year to $11.2 billion. Certain segments like the cloud and gaming outperformed, but LinkedIn and other small business related products underperformed. Mind you, of course, the stock is up over 50% year over year from the same quarter. So this is up to you to decide whether 13% revenue increase combined with a downturn in net income 15% justifies the 50% plus move year over year from the same quarter. Of course, the market will decide that. You see the stock down 3%, and we'll see in the weeks to come whether Microsoft will lose a little bit of momentum and some air will come out of the bubble. The other name reported, of course, Tesla, most anticipated, and I warned you in my earnings preview video that the reaction after the earnings might come muted, even though option traders piled in for big, massive moves after earnings. Last time I checked, the stock is up about 4% or so. We will wait, of course, for the conference call and for tomorrow's reaction, because investors will take a little bit of time to process these numbers and make their decisions of what to do in the stock. Tesla beat expectations largely because of credit from the American and Chinese government, not due to the core business growth. The earnings were 50 cents versus $2.31 a year ago for the same quarter. The sales are down, the deliveries are down 5% year over year from the same quarter. So again, you see the plateauing of Tesla's core business, the credits keeping it afloat. We will see how the reaction from investors will materialize in the days and weeks to come. The stock, of course, up over 500% from the same quarter a year ago. We also had Chipotle reporting. Chipotle had good earnings, beating expectations. Growth continues to go. Last time I checked, the stock is muted. Keep in mind, of course, that Chipotle stock is also up 50% from the same quarter a year ago, so we'll see how investors react in the hours and days to come. Another name that reported also after the bell is Las Vegas Sands. The resorts were underperforming today, along with the travel sector. This is one of the biggest misses I've ever seen in the Las Vegas casino industry, having worked there for one of the biggest casino companies in Las Vegas. Las Vegas Sands is the best name among the casinos in Vegas, and here we go. Revenue, 98 million only. That's revenue, not net income. Revenue for the quarter versus 564 million expected. A massive miss, massive. The stock is a little muted last time I checked, but it's already down big the last few days, so we'll see how investors look into these earnings, but definitely a grim look for Las Vegas. One of the outperformers, as you can see in the heat map, of course, today is Pfizer. Pfizer up big today, and the reason is we had headlines in the morning. Here is the shift to the headlines of the day. $2 billion from the U.S. government to Pfizer to supply 100 million doses of the vaccine. Why is the taxpayer paying Pfizer for a vaccine that's not developed or proven yet? This is the next stage of looting that started with the PPP and the trillions from the Fed and the trillions in bailouts that are about to come. This is the next stage of looting, of course. You see Pfizer getting $2 billion, Novavax, which never developed or produced any product before, getting $1.6 billion from the taxpayer money. Of course, we covered Gilead and Moderna. Moderna never released a product before, each getting about $500 million to develop the vaccine from taxpayers' pockets. The looting continues. The treasury is open for any corporation and the richest people in the country to go ahead and loot for any purpose they please. Speaking of COVID, here's Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci says COVID will not be eradicated and will be with us for a long time. So what is the point of paying all this money for pharmaceutical companies that are highly profitable, that have a high amount of cash? Let them develop the vaccine first, and then we'll pay them. Why are we paying ahead of time? Some news overnight about tensions between Washington and Beijing. The bizarre incident in the Houston embassy, the Chinese embassy in Houston. They were caught burning papers, very mysteriously. Papers in the courtyard being burned, and then what do you know, the United States government giving them about 72 hours to leave and close the consulate. Beijing, of course, issued a warning of retaliation. They're probably going to close the United States consulate in Wuhan and other regions in China. But you see the Cold War between the United States and China brewing and getting hot again. Another headline about unemployment benefits. They want to lower it to $400 instead of $600 a week. Look at how they shake you down off your own money. This is taxpayer money. You're getting it back, and they want to cut you off. But no problem giving hundreds of millions to the richest people in the world, to the richest corporations in the world, laced in small businesses via the PPP loan, and hundreds of millions and billions, of course, to pharmaceutical companies that are developing the so-called vaccine. They won't cut that. That's okay, no problem. They won't cut the defense military contractors' business. You saw LMT, Lockheed Martin, up big today because of the earnings they reported. No cuts there. The industrial defense military complex continues to rake in and loot the treasury under the name of defense. Let's talk about an important earnings that we had yesterday from United Airlines. United Airlines earnings were an absolute disaster. You saw the reaction of the stock today down further. The story in the airlines is just abysmal, very dark story, and I don't know where the exit route is. United Airlines CEO expecting the revenue to plateau at half of last year's revenue. Of course, the revenue this quarter was down 87% year over year for the same quarter a year ago. He says the revenues will remain halved until the vaccine arrives. The net income for the quarter was down. United Airlines lost $1.6 billion. They continue to burn cash at the rate of $40 million a day. They hope they hope that they will reduce their cash burn to 25 million a day. This is where the bailout money and your taxpayer money is going. It's being flushed in the toilet by the tune of $40 million a day to save these companies. We're making zombie companies. They say they have $18 billion in liquidity from taxpayers and from loans, so they will weather the storm for this quarter. But if the crisis continues for 2 more quarters, they will not be able to survive without further bailouts and Fed loans. At a certain point, we have to ask ourselves, what is the point of propping these zombie companies and keeping them alive? Shouldn't we let the capitalist system take care of itself? We have billionaires like Jeff Bezos making $10 billion a day from the stock movement on Monday. Why doesn't he buy some of these airlines out of bankruptcy? Let them go bankrupt and let other businesses absorb them. That's how the capitalist system is supposed to work. We are not supposed to prop zombie companies for no purpose. And at the end of the day, of course, they're going to fire employees when the close ends in October. That's what they said. They're furloughing people. They're forcing people into early retirement. They're going to fire a massive number of employees out of the workforce when October comes. There is no point of saving this company. Let's dip into the charts analysis. Here's a daily chart of the SPY index. We are now surviving on the moves of the utilities, energy, and materials, industrial sectors. Are we really supposed to make all-time high based on the movement on these sectors that are so small in the overall picture of the SPY and the very defensive tune of the market? Here is a 15 minutes chart. As you can see, we caught a bid, we sold off, and we remained in this yo-yo game back and forth until we caught a bid at the end of the day, and the SPY, of course, closed about half a point up. Contrast that with the Qs. The technology sector catches a little bit in the morning, sells off, and catches another bit of the dip, and a sell-off follows right away. And at the end of the day, you see some buying, specifically in Microsoft, at the end. For a muted day for the technology sector, but the real story is, of course, in the yield hunting. You see how utilities ended the day. Utilities started catching a bid in the morning all the way until the closing bell. McDonald's, another defensive. This is a 15 minutes chart. Catches a bid all the way till the end of the day. The defensive theme in the market continues. Here is a daily chart of gold, GLD. Look at the breakout. Gold continue to catch a bid. As long as the dollar keeps going down, as long as yields keep going down, as long as we see the defensive formation in the market, gold will continue to appreciate. Here is another precious metal, silver, on an absolute tear, up 8% today, on top of the gains it made yesterday. The FOMO is happening already in silver. Investors are piling in for protection and haven in silver. I like gold more than silver because silver tends to attract rookie traders and day traders who pile into silver, make some profits, and then they pull out. Gold maintains stability, and I like that in gold. Gold will continue to appreciate, but in a more rational, mature way. To conclude this video, let's look at the S&P E-mini futures. We continue to trade above the resistance, now support line. Of course, we will see how long this will hold. The weekly close is very important. We're seeing some weakness in the technology sector. However, some strength in the defensive sector. We will see how this balances out, whether we're going to be able to close the week above the resistance line. But the theme, of course, is very clear. Yield hunting, defensives, real estate, materials, utilities, industrials, along with precious metals. McDonald's, a very defensive name, outperforming today and leading the Dow. This theme does not tell me that we are about to have another rally and another mania to the upside. It tells me that we are cautious, we're muted, and investors are trying to find protections and safe havens as much as they can, given the moment. Lastly, let's check on some of the names that reported earnings after the bell. Here is Tesla, now up 5.65%. It's all about the conference call. It's going to be happening in a little bit, and we'll see how the reaction will take place. Here is Microsoft now down 2.31%. Chipotle down about 1%, very muted reaction. Of course, the stock was up almost 2% today. Las Vegas Sand, the bomb that we just saw in the earning report, and of course they're down about 1% as of right now. They're down big during the day, almost 2.5%. They've been trending down in the last few days. Tesla, of course, if these results hold about 6% now, if you followed my trades, whether you're the Tesla shareholder trade or the double bearish trade that I made, you will end up keeping the credit of $700 plus. This is why we entered the trade. It was a very safe trade, very smart, very intelligent. And now, assuming these results maintain, you will collect the 700 plus bucks that you got in credit from the option trade. If you found the information presented in this video helpful, please subscribe, press the like button, the notification button, and follow me on social media.